This is the Entrepreneur Unleashed Show, episode 75 with Julie Foucht. Hi, I'm Patty Keating, and I believe entrepreneurs are the future of the world. Over the past 2 decades, I've built 4 businesses in alignment with my values, giving me the freedom to live where I want and do what I love. I'm here to tell you that creating your successful business does not require struggle or sacrifice. So, how do you create the lifestyle business you love doing only what you love? Welcome to the Entrepreneur Unleashed podcast. Today, I'm bringing you Julie Foucht. She is a feminine marketing coach, a speaker, and an author. When Julie decided that she needed to take her coaching business seriously, she hired a high-end coach and learned how to market like a man. She doubled, then tripled her income in less than a year. But she felt drained, uninspired, and restless. Today, Julie teaches female coaches, teachers, and healers who are frustrated with traditional marketing how to build a 6-figure business that honors their feminine essence. Julie, hello.
Hello. Thank you so much for having me.
Oh my gosh, thank you for being here. I'm really excited to dive into your story and just share your mission and what you're all about with our audience. Is there anything you'd like to add to the introduction?
Oh man, can I? I will add, it's finally here in print. Oh my gosh,
Yay,
I'm so excited. This, people, is.
And we'll put that in the show notes, you guys. We'll put a link for you.
Yeah, that's been quite a process. I've learned so much about writing a book, and not writing it so much as publishing a book.
Yeah.
It's really been great. But thank you for I kind of hijacked it there a little bit going,
it's fine.
Yes.
Okay, let's dive in. What inspired you? We heard a little bit of it in the intro, but what inspired you to start your business?
Oh, well, that's a really great question. When I was 20 years ago, when I was leaving my first marriage, I was really lucky and I got to work with a couple of really powerful women. One who was a Reiki master and a psychic, and she's talks to angels. And this was way back before I any of it. You know, I was still in my just leaving Catholicism phase. And I got to work with her, and then I got to work with a woman who was a shaman. And in that process, I really regained some of my power that I had lost being in an abusive marriage. And I thought, I want to work with women. I want to do this empowering work. But I didn't know what that meant. Mm-hmm. I didn't know how to do it. And it took me a few years. I did a bunch of personal development courses and got invited to join a company that did goal achievement based on personal development, and really fell into the work, guided into the work, because it wasn't something that I ever planned. I wrote a vision for my life back then that said, I help women and I help empower them. And I have no idea what this looks like. And I'd never heard of coaching. And when I discovered the Coaches Training Institute, I was like, this is what I was writing about.
It was calling you.
It was calling me. And I do believe this is the work that has been my life's mission to do. Mm-hmm. I just didn't know it. And for years, I would ask the question in my meditations. I'd say, what am I supposed to be doing with my life? Where am I going? What is my purpose? And I'd hear, we'll tell you when it's time, which is frankly annoying when that's what Source is saying to you. But now when I ask the question and I get, we'll tell you when it's time, I'm like, oh yeah, that's great, because you've led me this far.
So you launched your business. Did you go to CTI first and then launch?
I kind of. I did a couple of, after I did my personal training, I joined a company where we did personal development work, we shut the company down. I did a couple of retreats on my own. And then I said, oh, I need more training
Yeah.
if I'm going to do this. And that's when I discovered CTI.
Yeah.
And I came out of CTI and I actually took a class, and I was told that the way to market my coaching was to find people's pain, make them feel a whole lot worse, really dig in, and then position yourself as the only answer to their pain.
Oh, jeez. It's so bad.
And I went, that's it. I'm never marketing again. Right. And then several years later, so I had this great little tiny coaching practice, and I would do, 3 clients and go, oh, I'm exhausted. I need to go shopping. And my husband was making a really good living. He was not my husband at the time. We were living together, but we hadn't gotten married yet. And he started his own land use business because he's a land use planner. Mm-hmm. And he was working with developers and lawyers and private property owners here in the Monterey area. Mm-hmm. And the housing market crashed. Mm-hmm. And his very last client in his business decided that they would choose to bankrupt the California leg of their arm and never work in California again. And ended up owing us tens of thousands of dollars that they walked away with.
All right.
And he shut down his business. It took him, oh my gosh, another year, maybe even a little more than that, before he was able to get another job. And in the meantime, all of a sudden, I had to support us.
Yes.
So
go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead. I was just going to keep going.
I'm curious what kind of obstacles showed up with you now that you are, it's up to you to provide the living for you and your husband. How did you move through that?
Well, the first thing was I realized that nothing changes unless something changes. Mm-hmm. And I hired a high-end coach, but the very first obstacle to hiring her was I couldn't find where I'd hidden my credit cards. So, and in those coaching conversations where you go, I have to find a card, and they go, well, let's talk about that money issue. And I was like, no, it's not a money issue. It's literally, I put them away somewhere so I wouldn't use them. Mm-hmm. I don't know where. But there were a couple of things that came up. I mean, at first I jumped in and I learned, I had never learned, like, how do you do a launch? What's a giveaway? What's a telesummit? I had never done those things. Yeah. And so I really learned how to do that. And at first I really loved it, but it started to feel really mechanical and draining, especially as I was teaching it to my clients. Now, what would happen, and I think when you and I met, I was still billing myself as the kick-ass biz coach. And my clients would come to me and they'd be like, okay, we're going to kick my business in the rear end. And then I'd get in and be like, now, before we do that, let's do some inner child work, and let's connect with source, and let's do some woo-woo. And I wasn't telling anybody I was doing the woo-woo. So that was a big stumbling block, because my clients, sometimes I was bringing the wrong clients in.
Yeah, your brand was not coherent.
Yeah. Now, I managed to hit 90,000 with an incoherent brand.
Yeah.
So, you can do it for a while.
Yeah.
But then Source kept saying to me, excuse me, this isn't authentic. You need to change things up. Mm-hmm. And I remember sitting at my computer and sending an email. And in the email, I said, I'm coming out of the closet. I'm not your normal business coach. And sometimes I'll even pull out a tarot card during a coaching session so that I can connect with the unseen to really guide the session. My husband was sitting across from me we were in our mountain house in the dining room, and he goes, are you sure you want to send that? And I said, I don't have a choice. Pushed the button and sat there and sobbed for 15 minutes because I thought I had just blown my business up.
Yeah.
And I think that that can be one of the biggest stumbling blocks for people is they feel that call to be more authentic. They feel
Mhm.
that call to really
Absolutely.
do the work. And the world tells us it's got to be this way. It's got to look this way. What do you think you're doing? Are you sure you want to put you out there?
Mhm.
And I think that's one of the biggest stumbling blocks, especially for women, because what happens to powerful women?
Mhm.
We get burned at the stake. We get, thrown in the river. We get trashed on social media. When you are a powerful woman, um, even like in the world of podcasting, where you and I are now,
Mm.
women's voices are highly criticized in the world of podcasting.
Mm.
Men's voices aren't, you know?
Interesting.
I heard
So
Ira Glass talk about this. Ira Glass has the worst gravel in his voice when he talks. And yet nobody criticizes him for it. But his female colleagues get criticized all the time if they do the little vocal fry, which is what I just did. This is vocal fry. Um, so being a strong, powerful woman and really speaking your message can be another disincentive that
mm.
we have to overcome as women.
Mhm. So you started showing up, being real, taking a stand. It's what we stand for. Our tagline here is be real, take a stand, change lives. And really being seen and heard for who you are. So many women and men experience that no matter what the real part is for them, right? That it's just scary to put the truth of who you are out as a brand for many people, and to really expose yourself. So after you've done this, what's the biggest lesson you learned from that?
Mm, everything gets easier.
Nice. Yeah.
Yeah. Um, increasing my income has gotten easier. Designing programs has gotten easier.
Yeah.
Um, Playing has gotten easier.
It's pretty
My
easy to be
business.
you, right? It's so hard to be
Yeah.
somebody else's version of you.
Well, and it's hard to be editing, all the time. Like I can show this much of me, but not this much of me. It's like, throw it all out there. How do I write an email and make it look right? Make it look the way people expect? I threw all that out the window
Yeah.
and I just write.
Yeah.
And I don't think I would have written the book if that had not been true.
Oh, yeah. And the people who come to you are the perfect people because they know who you really are. You don't have to put on that cap again, like, oh, got to put on my branding cap while I'm with this client and just like power through it. It really is choosing to live in ease. And it's pretty
Yeah.
amazing. I love watching this unfold with my own clients. So tell us about your current business. What are you passionate about right now?
Oh, that's a great question. I am absolutely passionate about women making money. And
Mm-hmm.
here's why. We, for the last 2000 years, we've been in this realm of women having lesser value in the marketplace, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing is that when women have money, then we can support the causes we believe in.
Yeah.
We can stand up for what we believe in, and we
Mm-hmm.
get a seat at the table of decision making.
Mm-hmm.
And when women are stuck, when they're not making money, then they don't have choices. And
Mm-hmm.
I stayed in a 20-year abusive relationship because I didn't think I had
Mm.
choices. So I'm really passionate about
So,
women making not just a little bit of money, but a lot of money, because I
mm-hmm.
think when women have money, that's how we heal the planet.
Mm-hmm. Let's get the money in the hands of good-hearted people, right? Like who are going to provide, who are going to move that money into other places that are doing good. I agree.
Yeah. Money needs us. Money actually needs us because without a human being to pass through, money has no way of doing anything on the planet.
Mm-hmm.
And in my belief, money is an energy, it is a part of source. And as such, it wants to elevate everyone on the planet.
Mm-hmm.
But it needs us to get it there, right?
Yeah.
Which means we've got to be open and start making more of it so that we can put that um, making good change on the planet.
And there's a lot of it right now. We just printed a few more trillion. So let's get our hands on it. There's more
Yeah,
money now than ever before. All right. So
exactly.
what's your vision for the next 5 years?
Oh, that's a really interesting question. It's and I'll tell you why it's interesting, because the world is completely unraveling right now.
Mm-hmm.
When the whole COVID thing started, I actually had a vision of the planet cracking apart
Mm-hmm.
and Mama Earth just saying enough, right? Enough. Let's figure out a different way of being. And I think we've seen that with the protests that have been happening, that
Mm-hmm.
I, I'm hopeful that we're at a breaking point there, not a breaking point, but a change point.
Mm-hmm.
5 years from now, I see the world coming back together in a different way.
Mm-hmm.
We also have this new kind of human beings that are being born on the earth. And I look at my little grandchildren and I see this, who are tender, who are more connected, who, and I'm not a human design expert in any way, shape, or form, but they're saying that even a new design of humans, if you follow human design, is coming to the planet.
Mm-hmm.
So 5 years, I see us reshaping the planet. I see us coming into alignment with an idea that there's an abundance, not a scarcity of resources. And
Mm-hmm.
as we come into an abundance of resources, we're able to share them more across the planet.
Yeah, that's
In
beautiful.
that, we begin to heal all of well, maybe not all, because, we still have to be human, but we start to heal those deep generational wounds that we are currently carrying around, that are causing us to act out against each other.
Mm-hmm.
And if that vision isn't 100%, I'm okay, because I have to carry that vision. I have six tiny grandchildren and one who's moving into his own apartment for his junior year of college, which is just crazy. But for them, I have to believe that we can leave a legacy of a better planet, a better world, for the little ones that are coming up.
Mm-hmm. That's beautiful. What's the best advice you've ever received?
The best advice I was actually at a CBN retreat. There's an organization that you and I belonged to. And I was talking about what I wanted to do with my business. And this woman, who's a very tall woman with very deep voice, looked at me, and I was like, well, I want to do this, but I can't. And she said to me, but Julie, you must. And I thought, that was the place where I knew that I had to bring all of myself into the world. I had to bring all of myself into my business, or I was not only shortchanging my people, but I was shortchanging myself.
Yeah.
And I just loved that, because she was just like, you must.
Oh,
you're right. You're right.
That's awesome. What about personal growth? What kind of personal growth have you experienced as a result of this entire journey?
Oh, man. So much. The biggest thing for me is really in learning that I'm okay, that all of me is okay. And then in finding people who would accept all of me, in letting go of relationships where only part of me was accepted, and letting go of relationships where I had to hide some of who I was. And really that space of being okay with who I am has healed a lot. It's made it okay for me when my kids say, this is what was wrong with my childhood, for me to say, oh, you're right. I'm sorry. I participated in what was wrong with you, or not you, but wrong with the way that I raised you. I'm sorry about that. And it has created a much happier relationship between me and my kids. It makes a much happier me. And it allows me to be in a different kind of relationship now with my current husband than I was with the first one. So yeah, kind of like everything. It's a small answer.
It's so true. It's a big journey. running a
Yeah.
business and growing a business. What about tools and resources? What kind of gadgets, tools do you use that make your life easier?
Well, the first one is I have teammates.
Yeah.
So I have a social media gal, I have a virtual assistant, I have a bookkeeper.
Mhm.
I have somebody who in normal times would be doing my hair. Um, we're not quite normal times. So I have a team put together, and that's been huge for me. And, even in the beginning when I was hiring team and only doing a few hours a week with them because that's all I could afford, that was huge. And then because I'm a big picture thinker, I have to break things down into systems. So I have the old fashioned, I'll just show you. I have my old fashioned running list that I do probably 2 or 3 times a week, maybe not quite that much, maybe twice a week. I go through and redo my list. But we also, I do a lot on spreadsheets, track everything on spreadsheets. I use a calendaring system. I use an automated billing system. I have all those systems in place.
Mhm.
The content management system. I have all those systems in place that not only can I access, but I have my team able to get their fingers into it
Mhm.
because, again, I will mess it up if I can unintentionally. So I have the people in place, I have a web person who I can send a note to and say, hey, I just screwed something up on the website, and she'll have it back up
Yeah.
within, a short
So
period of time.
people, your
People.
gadgets are people.
Yeah, and I have all the other stuff, but the people support the stuff
Mhm.
so that I can be in my genius, and I think
Yeah,
that's really important.
absolutely. What about resources like books, podcasts, audio books? What are you listening to and what are you reading?
Well, right now I'm really focusing on anti-racist
Mhm.
literature, so I'm reading How to Be Anti-Racist, but I will tell you it is um, written not for lay people. So I'll read a paragraph and then I have to think about it 2 days.
Mm.
Last night I started Me and White Supremacy, which I think is going to be really good. I'm enjoying that. I also read a lot of um, things about like witches and goddesses and ancient women, because that is our legacy that brings it in. And then I have a mastermind of sisters that I rely on
Mhm.
around the business stuff. So they have expertise in other areas, and we meet regularly and either brainstorm or problem solve, or I'll send one of them a note and go, can I talk to you for 15 minutes? I have an idea, but I need to talk out loud. And so that's been a huge support as well.
I love that you view your resources and it always comes back to people.
It does, doesn't it?
Yeah, that strong connection value that you have is it's amazing to hear. Okay, looking back, if you were to do it all over again, what would you tell your younger self?
I would tell my younger I would tell my younger self to trust myself,
Mm,
and to stop looking for outside validation.
nice, beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing your journey with us.
Oh, thank you for having me.
I really appreciate it. Hello and welcome. I'm recording this episode from my home office during self quarantine as we were all asked to stay home due to the coronavirus. If you like what you hear and you'd like to hear more, please join me in my Facebook group. It's called The Unleashed Entrepreneurs. You can search that on Facebook. Come on over. It's a community of thriving entrepreneurs making a difference in the world, doing what they love, and changing lives. Hope to see you there. Enjoy the show. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Have you ever wondered what you could do to make your own business and grow it online? Head on over to pattykeating.com and take the entrepreneur code. You'll discover your unique value, your personality style, and how you can combine those two into a thriving business that helps people and lets you make money doing what you love. I'll see you there. Bye for now.